When making a diamond-shaped fighter kite, such as this shape of a kite, one of the more challenging aspects of it is that you have to be careful if you're using a carbon fiber bow or fiberglass bow, that the orientation of that bow be aligned correctly in order for the kite to fly well. And oriented correctly meaning that although this looks like it's round in its cross section, it's a rod, you'd think it'd be round, it feels round, until you do this, until you bend it with your hands and then use your fingers and just twist and rotate it around its long axis, you'll feel that it actually is jumping from one area to the next, which indicates it is not round. If it were, it would just be very smoothly rotating, but it doesn't. And that's because of the way these are made. These carbon fiber rods are made by the zillion feet and for many, many purposes, and they're not precise. They're close enough for kite making, and they work well for kites for sure, but they aren't perfect. To help get them as perfect as possible though, install them in the kite with the right orientation is really important. Now, there are a couple of ways you can do it. One is you can cut the bow longer than the kite plan requires. And then if you have some weights that you can place on your workbench, you can hold it this way. Adjust it and hold it. So we'll just assume this is the kite sail. The other way, and the way I like, is to use what I call a bow setting device. All this is actually is a piece of a stirring straw, small diameter straw, plastic straw. I just cut a couple pieces about a 1/2 inch long, and I used my portable hot cutter or soldering iron to melt the ends on one end of each of these pieces so that the bow would not go through it. Then I poked a hole through it with a needle and fed this line through it. On one end I just tied the little piece of straw. On the other end I looped it and then created a top line hitch knot right here to allow me to easily adjust the distance between those two. So here, using this, I simply insert the bow end into one and then the other end into the other one, and I adjust the bend to suit the kite plan. Now this isn't exact, but I can adjust it here and see if it makes it better or worse. Well, that's pretty darn close right there. So what I would do is tape or glue the bow in once I have it positioned correctly. And the importance of having these ends where the bow is actually just loosely sitting in there is that allows the bow to find its natural orientation, which is what you want when you install it in the kite. And so these have to be loose. The bow has to be able to be rotated once it's in these little pockets, and this obviously does. So what I would do in this case is I would put a piece of masking tape right at the center and a couple pieces onto the kite sail material, which is what we're assuming this is. onto this line to hold it in place. I might tape it out here so that it was at the tips. However I held it, I would just hold it in place. And then when I finish gluing or taping the bow onto the kite sail, I would simply trim off the excess on each side and I'd be done. Now I use a wire cutting tool to cut the carbon fiber rods. It works pretty well. I don't know exactly what it's called here, but I think I bought it at Home Depot. So that's something that can be used, and you can make one of these setups and use it on any kite pretty much because it's adjustable and it's quite simple. I hope this helps you in putting your bow into your diamond-shaped fighter kites.